Hi, and welcome back to our next episode in Instruments for Change. My name is Audale Martin. For today, we will be going over some of the stuff we did last class, major scales, and then today we'll be touching on minor scales and altering what we did, the concepts in major scales just for minor scales. If we have enough time, we'll probably touch on a few key signatures to help us understand the similarities and difference with major and minor scales. Alright, so we'll go right into it with a quick warm-up, which will be slightly different from what we did last session. So if you can follow with me, I'm going to be doing this pattern with the major scales very slowly, and it's a very good exercise. So I'll play the exercise one time through. And it's simply the major scale, starting from C, we're in C, in this case, C major scale. And I skip the note right beside C, which is D, using the second finger to play E. So there's D right there, just to make that very clear. C, second finger on E. And when I'm coming back down, I play the note that I skipped earlier, which is D, and then I continue that pattern. So I skip now E and go to F. If I skip G, go to A with the second finger. When coming back down, I will now play G. And with the left hand, it's pinky, first finger in the left hand, and then we skip D here, but we go to E. Now we play D coming back. Here's D, here's C, here's D. Skipping A, go to B. So we start at C, end at C. Here it is with left and right hand. And you can go further to the next octave. And you can do that in other keys, C sharp, the same fingering in D. So this is one good way to know if you really have those major scale under those fingers, right? Let's try E. I believe this exercise is from a group of other exercises called Hanon finger piano exercises, not remembering right now. So some of us may know this exercise. And once again, we practice with a metronome. So we get each note steady. Let's try F sharp. When you're playing on the black keys, it helps to come in and out depending on the scale that you're playing or whatever you're playing. If you come in, it's easier to play black key scales or exercises. If you're playing on the white keys or most of the white keys, you can come out here. But some stuff you play inside, some stuff outside. Right? So what I did just now was to take a major scale and play it in a contrasting way as opposed to going up in a linear pattern. So the left hand is going down, right hand is going up. It looks, probably I'm making it look a little easy, but it's really matter of practicing, it probably is a bit hard. Even to put two hands together may be difficult for some persons. So we slowly break it down. C, D, E. We realize where we go under with the thumb to F. The left hand is still going up the scale up to G, and then so if you try to really break down the finger, and you'll realize that the left hand is the right hand going up and down in opposite fashions. So going up 1, 2, 3 with the right hand and go under to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's 1, 2, 3 under 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with the right hand. But with the left hand it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and then 1, 2, 3. So while with the right hand it was 1, 2, 3, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's the opposite for the left hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3. So if you check it now. So 1, 2, 3 right hand, left hand going 4, 5, right hand is going under, and that's our fingering. Now putting that in this fashion, in a contrasting way, will take, some time, which is to slowly practice it and work out where the fingers are going. If you can stay at least 2 steps ahead in your mind, it helps. And while I'm playing these notes, I'm ensuring that each note is equal in left hand and right hand in terms of dynamics and how fast or slow or hard or soft I'm touching the note. So try to make it even, or I can accent the first note and the last. Right, so that's a good practice there. You can take the time to pause the video and really work out this one. So take the time to slowly work that one out using a metronome so we feel time and not just hear time, because that's a thing for persons learning to play music or professionals or anybody has anything to do with music will know it's not just about what we hear. So we hear the time and we sing along to a beat or the musicians or in the band, but we have to feel that pulse. We have to feel that time, and you can't be too fast or too slow, so you really have to drop with it. And many songs don't feel nice or sound good simply because we're not in time, right? So we have to learn time in the same way we actually learn to play the keyboard. We have to really learn time, because you can do many stuff with time. You can't really do much with, you can do much things around the time rather, right? So like harmony is absolute, but you have many different type of harmonies. So the time is like absolute, but you can play around the time, right? So time is very important when practicing or on stage, but even more so, we focus on time when practicing. Otherwise, we're not practicing. You have to be very focused. All right, so that's practicing right there. We spoke about intervals in the last session and the one before. Intervals. We'll be going through intervals again today, but from the perspective of the minor scale. And we'll be going through chords today, but from the perspective of the minor scale. But I will still go through what we did last week and compare them so we can see the differences, and it may connect why we did some of the stuff we did last week or the week before, and see how they relate to the minor scale. A minor scale, in a simple way, is a major scale starting from a different part in the major scale. Sounds weird. So if I play C major scale and I number the notes instead of saying the letters, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I can also number going just back. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Today will be quite interesting for a few persons not knowing some of these things. So please listen up or repeat what you don't understand. Just repeat that part of the video till you get it. That kind of thing. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Coming down 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It really helps to write. So let's go on the board actually. Let's go on the board. So it really helps to write and number the letters. So it takes a little stress off the brain to process everything. We're not trying to stress you out at all. We're really not trying to do that. So our major scale. Right? And we number it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Earlier I said that the minor scale is just a major scale starting from a different note. So C major scale starts at C and ends at C. That's how we know it's a C major scale. It's not a C major scale if you play all the white notes and start on D and end somewhere else. It's not a C major scale. Even though all these notes can be found in the C major scale, it's not a C major scale. It has to start on C and end on C. If you do not do that, you will end up with something, you'll end up with something called modes that we probably won't know much about just now. So we want to start at C and end on C. All right. Now the minor scale starts on the 6th of the major scale, which in this case is A. It always starts on the 6th of the major scale. It is a way to help us figure out the minor scale really quickly, but the minor scale is really a scale all by itself, right? But for now we can say it's derived from the major scale. In this case, if we start from A and go up to B, C, D, and remember, every scale that we'll ever play will be in alphabetical order, whether major or minor. So we can just write that out. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, real easy. That's really the alphabet. A, right? Now in this context, A is now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's a bad 8. 8. So if I play these notes, starting from A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. One more time. Just to quickly note that this is still a C major fingering. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we didn't start at C. You hear the difference. Here is at C. It's very different, even though it's the same white keys. But where the root is, and we spoke about the root in context of chords last week, but the root here is, or the definite beginning, is at A here. And if I should play a chord over it, which is A minor chord, it sounds different from C major. But they're related, what we call relative majors and minor, because they share the same exact notes, keys, key signatures, the same black keys, white keys as the major scale its cousin or uncle would use. So let's try, for example, F. F, G, A, this scale has B flat, F major scale, C, D, E, F. So what we would do is find the 6th degree in that scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're now basically playing that F major scale starting from D, but it will not sound like a F major scale. It sounds like a scale that is some sort of D, which is D minor in this case. So let's just run a few of those on the board real quickly. So that's our A minor scale. Let's rub that out. A minor scale. So if, let's say we do G major scale, again alphabetical order, G, A, B, and we know G is the ending of the musical alphabet, so we start again. G, A, B, C, D, E. This scale has an F sharp, and G, A, B, C, D, E. Where's E? E, F sharp. That's clear? E, F, yes, it's clear. G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. Where's the 6th degree? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here is 6. And as I was saying on the earlier on the keyboard, we can go back. So if this is G here, we can look from here, G, and we say F sharp. And here is E, and then we'd have D, right? And then we'd have C, and so forth. So we can say 6 up or 3 down will give us the root note of the relative minor scale. Relative because it's related to the major scale, meaning we use all the same notes of that major scale, in this context G, but it's now not a G major scale, but an E minor scale that uses all of G major notes. And it will sound different regardless of the fact that we're using G major scale, G major notes. If we start that G major scale on an A, it will not sound like a G major scale, and it will not sound like a relative minor scale that we're working on just now. It has to be from the 6th degree up or the 3rd down from G, the major scale. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Here's that 8 again, crazy 8. 7, 6. Here we have 6 again. So 1, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, back to G. That's somewhere down there. All right. So let's look at a few more. All right. So then, let's hear the G major scale. G major scale, and I'm going to go from the 6th of G. A total different. Oh, that fingering is wrong. Right. Don't mind my finger now. Sometimes I improvise. Listen to your instructor, but don't always follow what your instructor do. So this scale is a E minor scale, which is all of G major notes. So you notice that F sharp is still in there, just like in a G major scale. But we're starting from the 6th of G. So that F sharp will still be in there. So it's all the notes of G major scale, starting from the 6th. Let's try A major scale. So even if you don't know the notes in your A major scale, check the alphabet to see where the 6 will be. If A is 1, B is 2, alphabetically speaking, C would be 3, D would be 4, E would be 5, and F would be 6. So even if you're not sure if it's an F or an F sharp, the letter F will still be 6th, right? So you can always check your letters to ensure, because the major scale, or any scale rather, is in alphabetical order, and you can just number them like that. So as you have the letters, you just write the numbers underneath them to see where you're at, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here's a 6. And I'm going to play all those notes I played just now, starting from this F sharp, which is the 6th of A. I'm going to just play it down here, F sharp. So I'm going to continue playing A major scale from F sharp to F sharp. Sounds very different. You notice how I play that scale? I tried, even though it's moving, fairly fast, I try to connect the notes properly. So I kill a couple birds with one stone. So while I'm learning the minor scales, I'm ensuring that as I'm practicing it, it is smooth as if I'm playing a major scale. Sorry, my bad. And if I go to C minor scale, it should sound just as smooth. sound just as smooth and clear and clean as I would a major scale. So don't look at a major scale to be more important than a minor scale. Nothing is more important. And the moment we do that, we lose context of the different tools that we can use to play music, and then some things all of a sudden seem harder than some, when it's not true. Everything is the same difficulty level. So if one thing is hard, then everything should be hard. If everything is easy, then at least that's how I see it. All right, we're going to take a break just now, and then we'll be back to go through the intervals in that minor scale.
Healthcare workers are working very hard to ensure lives are saved and people recover quickly from COVID-19. But their work is becoming harder because you're not wearing your mask, washing your hands with soap and water, or using hand sanitizer, and you are not maintaining physical distance. Let's limit the need for hospital beds and ventilators. Do the right thing. Cover your nose and mouth with a mask. Practice good hand hygiene and maintain a physical distance of 6 feet between you and others. COVID-19 is not over. Protect yourself while protecting others. A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness. The next person in line, your friend at school or your co-worker, may have COVID-19 and not know because they have no symptoms. You, on the other hand, could be hospitalized for 2 months or more if you become infected. Is it worth it? Stay socially connected, but keep the physical distance. Stay 6 feet away and avoid a hospital stay. COVID-19 is not over. Protect yourself while protecting others. A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
And we're back. That was a major minor scale. We'll talk about that the next time. But that was a major minor scale. Anyway, so we're at the minor scales. Now let us get a little bit more in depth on minor scales. So we had said that they are related to some major scales. All minor scales are related to major scale. How or why? Because they use the same notes as the major scale but start at a different degree, which give it a total different sound. As simple as that. Just starting somewhere else in the scale can give you a totally different sound. For example, the song Jerusalem. It's not a minor sounding song. It's in the key of C. And there's a funny little melody that turns around like goes. Can I tell you that's an actual major scale? It's an actual major scale, but it's starting from the third of the major scale. So we're going to assume C to be the third, even though we are in the key of C, which is 1. So you see multiple things are processing things, 2 things. So the tonality is C, but that colorful sound that we hear is assuming that C is the third. I'll just quickly tell you that that scale would be A flat. A flat will have C to be the third. So I'm playing an A flat scale starting from C, the third of A flat. And that's how they create, and a lot of stuff can be created just by changing the position of where you play scales, right? Which is what we call modes. And that's basically what this minor scale is. So everything is really related to each other in music. There's always some connecting factor. So as I said, if one thing is hard, everything should be hard. If everything is easy, if one thing is easy, everything should be easy. Then means that there was some misunderstanding somewhere why something is easy and something is hard. All right. So let's look at the major scale and the minor scale and compare the differences. Let's look at C major scale. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, A, G, F, E, D, C. Numbering 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If you can remember back to a class we had before, I was speaking about intervals. Intervals and how important they are. So major second, major third, a perfect fourth, perfect fifth, perfect sixth. I said perfect 6 just now. Somebody scold me. Major 6, major 7, the octave, right? In a minor scale. And remember I said anything that was major Once we flatten that note, we get a minor interval. So here is C, here's a major second, here's a minor second, which is a semitone, major second, minor second. We don't have a minor second in a minor scale, but at interval, this interval here is a minor second. If we flatten that major, once it's a major interval, we can't flatten a perfect interval. We won't get minor intervals. If you flatten a major interval, you get a minor interval. Major second, minor second. Major third, 1, 2, 3, major third, because it's the third of the major scale. We flatten it, we get a minor third. This here we will find in C minor scale. Here's a perfect fourth. It will still remain a perfect fourth in the minor scale. If we try to say we're going to flatten this scale, all we get is a major third, which doesn't sound minor. Here's a minor third going to a major third going to a minor third, which does sound minor. But you can't flatten a perfect interval and get a minor. You get something else. Similarly, the perfect fifth, this is not a minor interval. This is not a minor interval, right? This is a diminished interval. Diminished meaning it gets, let's not go there right now. So here's your major 6. Flatten that major 6. We get a minor 6. Major 6. And this note will also be in the minor scale of C minor scale. Here is your major 7. You're going to flatten it to get your minor 7. And remember when I just started but this after the break, I played something and I said it was a major minor. So it is where we take that minor stuff and add major stuff somewhere else along the line. Like a minor interval and a major interval that we wouldn't normally do, and so you get a different sound. When really we should flatten this major here to minor, and so it evened itself right out. That's different. This is very dissonant. There is a clash somewhere. If you know how to use it well, it really works well. But this is what it is. So let's play that C minor scale, and we will not have that minor second interval in a minor scale. Alright? So I'm playing C minor scale, and I'll tell you where C minor scale is coming from. So here's C to D. We will now flatten the third, so that major third is now a minor third. We keep the same fourth. Here's a fourth. Here's the fifth. We won't play the major sixth interval, which means it's major 6 because it's from the major scale. And we'll now flatten that major interval and we get that minor interval. We flatten the 7th to this note here from B to B flat. So the whole thing sounds like C, D, E flat, F, G, A flat, B flat, C. Now, if we're listening, we should ask the question, so which major scale is that scale related to? Right? And that can help some others to really grasp the concept that all of what I just did and explain is really a major scale from somewhere else, which would be, in this case, E flat major scale. Here's E flat major scale. So if you look at it slowly, I played C minor scale just now. It had that E flat in it because we flattened that major third from C. So here's E flat scale. It had the F just now, the G, and we said from C we flattened that major 6 to minor 6. But in this case, this is the fourth. Everything is shift up. The intervals are shift up. So what was second is probably something else now, but they still relate to each other because they use the same set of notes. I'll put that on the board so we see what's up. All right. Sorry, E flat major scale. What I will do is play E flat major scale in my right hand and C minor scale in my left hand, and we'll see that it's the same set of notes. Starting from C, here's E flat in my right hand. Let me go. Can I go up here right? Let me use one finger so we see. Here is C. Slowly, you assess it. I won't even say anything. Coming back down. you notice, they sound quite well. Let's put them in the same octave together. So it's use. So you can hear like a minor scale and a major scale at the same time, but when they blend together, they give you what people probably call alto, at least in this arranging of the notes. Right? So C minor scale is not really any different from E flat scale in the way A minor scale, it starts from A, is not any really much different from C in terms of the notes. It's just where we start, and that is where the root is and where the ear really pick up to say this is the beginning of the scale. Everything else will now shift in terms of what C, when C sounded like 1 in a C major scale, C will now sound like 3 in an A minor scale. Let's look at the board to and really get that much in. Alright, so I already have C major scale up top. Here is A minor scale. Let me put it like this. Let's say A is here, here's B, and here's C, which is right here with that C. Here is D, which is right here with that D. Here is E. I'm going to put it right here with that E. This is no rule, by the way. This is just me showing you what will happen, or the automatic shifting of what we hear, and also if we should use numbers, we see what happened. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And here's A again. Right? And we can number them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So A is now 1. This is all in context of white keys. I won't even say C major scale. I just say white keys. So here's A, which is now 1. B is 2. C is now 3, but in the C major scale, C is 1. Right? Now D is now 4 in A minor scale, but D is 2 in C major scale. E is now 5 in A minor scale. Place them, the number system is different and the sounds are different, right? So a perfect 4 here, C to F, is still C to F will always be a perfect 4. If I count from C, 3 up from C, or from 3 plus what give you 7? Let me count that up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I was being a little silly just now. C to F is still a 4 there. But in this case, 1 and 4 is A and D. So notes that are fourths away will always be perfect fourths, is what I was saying just now. Notes that are fourths away will always be fourths, perfect fourths, right? So C to F is the perfect fourth. In this context, it's now A to D. It doesn't mean that C to F is no longer a perfect fourth. It just means based on where I'm starting, things shift or move on the grid, to say then, right? I hope that's clear. So if that's not clear, just check it over again. All right, so we can move on from right there. So looking on major intervals and minor intervals. Here is C minor scale, C major scale, and here is C minor scale. Please note that these scales are not related to each other. C major scale and C minor scale are not related, at least in the same way that C major scale and A minor scale is related, right? So here is C major scale, here is A minor scale. C major scale uses white keys. It so happens that C major scale uses only white keys. A minor scale uses only white keys. Use only white keys. Right? And that is what made them relatable, or very relatable, because they use the same exact keys. C minor scale have altered notes in comparison to a C major scale. C major scale and C minor scale do not have altered notes. They are the same notes starting at different positions. C major scale and C minor scale are two different scales. Yes, C major scale and C minor scale start with a C. They both have the note D. But C major scale has E and C minor scale has E flat. Right? So for the fact that they don't use the same exact notes, in the same way C major scale and A minor scale does, they are not as relatable. Right? Rather we call them parallel major and minor. C major scale, C minor scale, here's A, C major scale, here's A minor scale, C major scale, A minor scale. They sound really compatible, but C major scale, C minor scale, it's a different sound. If I play C major scale and go to A minor, the sound, you can hear that relation. There's some level of relation between C minor scale and C major scale, but they're really not that relatable as C major scale to A minor scale. Or C minor scale to an E flat scale, that is the same as C major scale to an A minor scale. So E flat is the same as, C minor scale, E flat major scale, and C minor scale are relatable in the way a C major scale is relatable to an A minor scale, right? E flat major scale, C minor scale, which are the same notes as E flat major scale, C minor scale. They are the same. A flat major scale. So you can, if you can, some persons, like, when musicians chit chat and they look at how they approach stuff. And some people say, sometime when I'm playing in minor, I'm thinking of the relative major and, go from there. But not everybody kind of do that thing. Some persons really just stay disciplined. And so if they're in a C minor, or let's say I'm playing in A minor. I'm playing in A minor. And I'm playing Jehovah Guide Me. Some persons, because they're playing in A minor scale and they know the facts that A minor and C major is relatable, they will just, rather than call A minor 1, because A minor is the 1 in this case, they will call it 6 nevertheless, which is not a very good practice to say, even though I'm playing in context of a full minor tonality, they will still call it 6. I know some persons will just naturally go there, but I'm giving you the suggestion to do it the right way, right? Which is to learn A minor to be 1. So if A minor is 1, we can go up in this context. Just like we did with C major scale, like when we did, this thing here. And we said C is 1, D is 2, E is 3, F is 4, G is 5, A is 6, B is 7, C is 1. But in context of A minor, A is now 1, B is 2, C is now 3, D is 4, E is 5, F is 6, G is 7, A back to 1. We would just say 1, we won't say 8. By we, I mean musicians. In real time, we'll not say, we're going to 8. No, we just say we're back at 1, right? And that's the same thing as doing this in C. And if I do it in C minor, it would sound very far. will just follow through into C minor because they're all the same notes. Alright? Alright, so let's now talk about how we move chords around in a minor scale. It's the same approach as though we would be in a major scale. Alright? As I've just been playing the song, Jehovah Guide Me. And the chords I'm playing here is that A chord, which is, see that we're talking about minor. This is A minor. Some persons actually mix this up to call it A major because they know it is in context of C major. But A minor by itself is a chord different from C major, right? Here is A major. That sounds very much like the sun came out just now, and the sun is going back in, right? So this is A minor, A major, A minor. Here's a minor third interval, here's a major third. Right, so please don't mix that up. Alright, so I was playing Jehovah Guide Me. There are multiple ways to play that part. Some persons play. Right? That's based off a next minor scale, but we'll get to that next time. A different type of minor scale. So by the way, this what we're playing, that's good thing I bring that up right there. This is a natural minor scale. What we're practicing today is the natural minor. You have the harmonic minor and you have the melodic minor, which give you different colors, but today is just natural, right? The natural minor. So right, so I was playing A in this case, which is now 1 because I'm in A minor. Here is 4 going up to the 4th from A, which is A, B, C, D. And to help us to figure out if we're supposed to be playing this note here or here, we just remember it. Please don't mix this up now. We just remember the context of a C major scale to help us arrive at the correct notes to know if we should be playing a white key or a black key. Or else we will mix up A minor stuff with A major stuff, right? So to help us to remember where we are, we will oftentimes look at A minor in context of C major in terms of what notes are we playing. But the truth of the matter is, this is A is 1, not C, right? Hope that is clear. If it's not, you can always put it in the chat and I'll address it in the next class. So here is 1 to the 4, right? Which is D. Let me go right now. Let's go up here. A minor to the 4, which is here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's 5. But when we're playing chords, the rule is we have this G go up to. So this E chord here will be an E major chord. And that's coming off that A harmonic minor, which has a G sharp, which really belongs to that E. But in next class, we will fully get into that. But we're doing the natural minor right now, so we'll stick with E minor instead of E major for the 5, or the chord, which is the 5th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's look at it again. So the melody is starting on A. So you realize then that this song is in a minor tonality, right? Right here, what did I do just now? I didn't go way up here. I inverted it. Hopefully we remember inversions. And we did practice our inversion. So we would know that this is a D minor chord. And we spoke about that D chord last week. In context of C though, but today it's in context of A minor. And you know there's your different inversions. What I did just now when I played the A chord, A minor chord, I know that the common note between A and D minor chord is a A note. So I still keep that A and just move the notes that I need to move, right? Otherwise, I would be playing this here, A, C, D, and then move to D, F, A. But I know I was playing an A before, so I keep that A and just move the notes that need moving. That way we get smooth transition. As opposed to look at all that jump, you know? And it is needed at times based on what the music requires, but you would always get smoother transitions like this. And that way, some people look at my fingers. I hear the movement, but I don't see your fingers going very far. We're using inversions. Right? So it's... I just use E minor. It really sounds different from... It gives it a more contemporary sound. Give it a different sound. So. It sounds different, not necessarily wrong. It really should be. Right? But in context of A minor, natural minor, that's why we're doing this now. Right? And this note, this chord is what? An E minor chord in its inversion. In its first inversion. Why the first inversion? Because in this case, here is root position E minor. And this is just me pulling on last week's class. We have the third of the chord, in this case G, as the lowest note, which is what was happening here. Here's G as my lowest note. B, here's the E, right? So J, which is really not the correct way, but this is in context of a G, a natural minor. It should be da 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 da. And this chord is off a next minor scale. So we have, this is coming from that melodic minor. So you get different colors. You will get different colors if we, use up the different minor scales. But that's why we have a teacher to help us with learning all that vocab and all of that nice stuff. All right. So I'm just going to quickly, give me a minute. We'll just take a break right now and we'll be back.
So if y'all remember last week, y'all, and this fish that we got as a gift, and then y'all also saw at some point where I tried to cut it, y'all, our knives in this house could not tackle this fish. So Babes and I made the executive decision that we would have taken it down to where we know where fishermen always are. And they're more knowledgeable and equipped with knowing how to clean this fish, how to cut it, and they have the correct tools needed to do this. Like, they're the source. Like, they're the authoritative figure on cleaning fish at this time. And that's the same approach with our lives. If we want to know what we should be doing, what's our purpose, how we should be living, let's just go to the source, the God who created us. Isaiah 30:21 says, whether you turn to the right or to the left, your ears will hear a voice behind you saying, this is the way, walk in it.
Grandma, what are you doing?
I'm looking for a program on EJC to watch.
Oh, cool.
This looks like it's a good one.
Do it.
What?
Do it.
Do what?
You seriously not subscribed to EJC Virtual Church?
No, I'm not. I'm not going to subscribe to it.
Alright, let me show you.
I don't understand.
All you have to do is log in to your Gmail account on YouTube. Scroll up like this and simple. Press this button. Subscribe. Simple. Easy peasy.
Okay, it looks easy.
Alright, now if you want to use your phone to subscribe, all you have to do is click this big red word that says subscribe.
Yes.
Like this.
Okay.
And then you hit the notification bell.
That's easy.
Exactly. Now let's go continue watching this program.
Okay.
And we are back. And we're at A minor. So we were at the song and we did this for this class session in terms of the melody and the chords. So if you can get this down, it would be nice, meaning learn to play it. So just follow me right now and actually learn to play it. Just take 3 minutes and learn it. That's an A to a G to a C, right? So that's the melody. Strictly white keys, so even if you can't exactly see exact detail what I'm playing, and please don't use one finger. Start with that second finger. If you want to go over like that and come back. So you hear me say just now because it helped me to keep the time, so I will make sounds which help to keep the groove. So right. So it really helps to keep the groove if you can. It helps to feel. Remember saying you can feel the stuff as opposed to just hear the stuff. I mean, you can just hear the stuff. But what do you want your listener to feel? You want them to feel. I'm just breaking up the chord actually. So I'm playing the lowest notes, regardless of the inversion. It sounds interesting, but it's not necessarily easy to play. So learning to feel the groove will really just help you to just learn how to do it as opposed to work out what exactly kind of thing. But if you feel the groove before you play it, you actually know what you're going to play. So it's important to listen music like that and not just listen music on whatever level we normally would. But if we're going to be playing music, we have to listen to music and internalize rhythms, harmony, dynamics, and all the elements that Oren would have spoken about at some point in his sessions. And that's theory, yes, but we should make that theory practical by listening to music. We can look on our notes or look back at those sessions and say, let me actually listen to a song and try to hear these things. When I was in school, we called that class listening and appraising, where we sit for an hour and a half and just listen to music and listen to exactly what are we hearing. We hear harmony, we hear dynamics, which is how loud or how soft a phrase may be, or the entire music, or different parts, or whatever it is. And we put that all into context, So, and we have A minor, and we have to listen to when the changes sound like it will come. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that one is quicker. 2. So if you can just get those changes, under the fingers, we just move it D and F. If you're using the right fingers, this should be easy to do. That note is still, that pinky is still on that A, so I'm just moving these two top notes. And when I'm going to the E inversion, instead of going way up here, it's the two bottom notes now that are moving down, and the E stays. So it's like that. A stays in this context, going up to the D minor chord from A minor, and the E stays from A minor to E minor. So I don't have much far jumping one of the beauties of inversion. And that way I'm able to just break the chord or do whatever I want with the chord when I'm using inversions. Different from you being virtuous and moving around. There is this, and if it is in the groove, or what musicians like to call the pocket, it really, can add to the service or whatever it is that we're doing, or just our, leisure time practicing and really enjoying all the stuff and the emotions and all that come with music. Right? So now that we have learned that melody, here's the chords, and 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 2, 4, 2, together, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4, and slower. Sorry. Right? And you can really take even the hymns and work through your inversions like that. For those who can read, they can read through the hymns and don't just read the hymns, but understand the inversions that we see. A lot of times, persons who read very well will ask me, why do I play what I play? How do you read the music? And once I read the music, I assess what I see and understand the inversions, and therefore I know to play and I understand the hymnal's way of arranging chords, and so without looking in the hymnal, I will sound like what the hymnal is about, because I took the time to learn, right, what the hymnal is about, as opposed to something else what the hymnal is not about. That's a different kind of. So we take everything in their proper context, so we learn everything properly. Right, so we're here at A minor. What if we take it to C minor? This is what it looks like. Let's go up here. So here's C minor chord, here's C major, C minor. Let's go back to A minor. Wow, that's nice. Sorry. And therefore, you see that C major and C minor has nothing to do with each other, because it sounds like a total different thing now. Of course, it would sound like a different thing. Here's C minor. Sorry, that's not what we're using. Right? The reason I was trying to show you these chords just now in A minor is at least you learn a song and you can see how inversions work, and you can try the root position, which causes you to drum at different spaces. Yeah. As opposed to. Can you give me back the first shot? Just showing the front of the keyboard here. Right, that one. So if you notice, my hand has to go way up here to go to root position for D minor, from A to D minor to E minor. But look at this now. It's just fingers moving. It's the same thing as doing this. So you can see one hand clearly moving more than the other, while one is just inverting. That's just steady right there. Right there, steady, not moving. And this you can loop stuff or repeat stuff like this till it really is, under the hands. And so we can do any time with it, or, we can do anything with it, really. All right, so we're almost out of time. So let's just quickly recap what we did. So we went through minor scales. As I said at the beginning, I really wanted to, get into some key signatures, but next class, we will look at the key signatures, which will further help us to understand even more the theory behind major and minor scales, which we really did today, but then seeing it in its next perspective, or, official perspective, will give us even more understanding on this matter, right? So one time through, A minor, what we just learned. Three and, sorry. I'm going to open this chord a little bit so it's a little fuller. It's still A minor chord, but just inverted in a different way. A, here's the C up here, here's the E up here, here's A, C, E, but it takes a different shape here, so it sounds wide and bigger. And that's the next good thing to try, playing the bass a low A and then playing the A up top again, keeping it in time like this. So let's play 1, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Now this will be impossible for some, but still try it. You can actually still try it. 2, 3, 4. Let's go to a D chord. D, 2. In this case, you can just go to root position. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, A, 1, 2, 3, 4. So each note has 2 beats. 1 or movement. 1, 2, that's 2 beats. 3, 4 is the next 2 beats. So you can get your metronome and get it real slow. Pa, 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 pa. I'm using the pedal to help me. For now, pa, 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 ta, ta, pa, pa. Let's try E minor. Pa. So if you can do that after a while and you know the melody already, and I'm using root position now. You don't have to use root position. Here's the next inversion, which is a bit closer. But sometimes we fumble to find these inversions if we don't use the shapes and all of that, like the inversion shapes, which is why we practice these things. And next thing that we should be practicing is arpeggios, really, which is, here's the A minor chord. And it's basically playing the A minor chord up and down. Using the fingers I'm using is 1, finger 2, finger 3. So 1, 2, 3. And I slowly practice that. Please practice everything slowly. Please. Very slow. If we practice mistakes, it's very hard to undo those mistakes. And then you slowly take up the tempo. So if a C major chord, same fingering. 1, 2, 3. Invert. 1, 2, 3. This is a big under. Right? Just like how we'd go under in our scale. Coming back down, it's over. So look where finger 1 is always on C. Finger 2 is always on D, E. Finger 3 is always on G. When we're playing the arpeggio, which is basically just going up the keyboard with that chord. And I just finish it with the 5th finger up top. Sorry. Sometimes I'll use other fingerings based on how I feel about it, but this is I believe the standard. Right? So 2 things. We learn about, a couple things. We learned about our minor scales and how they're related to the major scales. We looked at the minor intervals in comparison to major intervals. What was a major third is now a minor third. What was a perfect fourth is still a perfect fourth. what was a perfect fifth is still a perfect fifth. What was major 6 is now a minor 6. What was a major 7 is now a minor 7. And we look at, chords, minor chords, and how we move within the context of a minor scale. I'm out of time right now, still trying to recap. But if I haven't said everything that we just recapped, you can always, look back or just play this video 1,000 times. I would do that if I'm learning something. We have come to the end of this class. Thank you for being with us. Please share, like, and subscribe to the channel.
Join us tomorrow evening for Oh Give Thanks with Pastor Michael Lewis and the dynamic team. We look forward to seeing you at 7:30 p.m. sharp. A blessing awaits you.